Tanveer Muhammad Masood, and in this part of this very short and brief video, we'll try to talk on two important commercial concepts. It's basically a commerce concept. It's basically the two very most important organ of any commercial and business world of any country. It's business and administration that I will be talking of, and the business and administration, how it affects our day-to-day lives, and how it's very much necessary to make a living. Now, business and administration are basically two most important concepts, and it's interrelated and interconnected as well. Business basically means is the method through which a person earns money by way of selling goods to customers. The money earned by way of selling one's product that has been produced indigenously or which has been bought from somewhere else, and it's basically sold to customers. It's called business, and administration is basically the method through which day-to-day activities are carried out, maybe be it of official business or any sort of personal in nature. These activities are basically of the nature of administration or administrative in nature. We call it business administration. Commerce, business, and administration are the three most important organs of the business world, and it's basically the rationale behind which every commerce world operates these days. It's been in there for a long time, and it has been evolving and in fact it's been modifying from one part to another part, from one type to another type, and the method of carrying out business activities has been modifying with the passage of time, and it's been evolving and been progressing with day in and day out. So if we look into the business and administrative activities in the older days, in the ancient days, we would come to know there was this concept of business from very long time. People used to trade, people used to make business, and that was their mode of earning. In ancient days, people used to sell crops, they used to sell cattle, they used to sell buffalo as well, and selling cows and animals were the part of the trade. Trading on the skin of animals were in fact one of the most important profession of theirs. Agriculture was another profession in the older days, in the ancient periods of like for example Chalukyas, the Cholas, and when the Mughals arrived, this concept of business evolved and it modified, and they tried to experiment with newer and important and most interesting things which was not quite prevalent in that kind of time. The Mughals were very fond of architecture. They used to build new buildings of architecture nature, and beautiful buildings were the part of their taste, and they tried to experiment with newer and newer coins. They used to make sure that their face or their inscription is in there on the face of the coin. And apart from that, they also made sure that newer and newer business activities are carried out. They used to trade in agriculture as well. They used to trade in animals as well. In those days, there were no currencies. In the very ancient days, there were no currencies, and people used to trade by means of animals or by means of gold or silver, and it was the standardized concept those days, and there were no money, and in fact animals used to be exchanged by way of money, or at times silver coins and gold coins used to be exchanged by way of money. And since coins of like say silver or gold could not be standardized, and there were some sort of weight issue in there, that's the reason why that concept could not be carried out in the later part of the human civilization. And as time progressed, and with every passage of time, new kings, new rulers arrived with new concepts and new ideas. each and every idea was right enough, since it evolved from day in and from every passage of time. It meant that things were pretty brighter for the coming civilization. Business and administration was the major part, or the major role that was basically played by this segment in the income of the national exchequer, in the income of the kings and the rulers those days. They used to trade. Foreigners used to come in, and they used to trade as well at those point of time. At that point of time, and that was basically the starting point or the turning point of business in the entire world as well. Not only in this part of the world, in the entire world, a business concept evolved greatly, with new experiments being done, with the concept of currency getting ground, with paper currencies getting ground. When the goldsmiths arrived, they used to accept gold and silver, and they used to give a deposit of paper where it was used to be written that that gold or silver is basically been deposited by such and such person, and it can be refunded whenever that person demands it. So that was basically the standardized concept of money, that paper, and it was basically the deposit money. And with passage of time, banks came in the early 19th century. When the British were ruling India, the banks evolved. In 1939, for example, this RBI, Reserve Bank of India, was set up, and from there on, the entire banking business was revolutionized, and the banks, in fact, became the most important, in fact, the most vital player in the commerce and business world of every part of the country, not only in India but in every part of the world. This the concept of bank gained ground, and it revolutionized the business and administrative segment of the entire world. Well, businesses are of various types, or if we look from the microscopic aspect of business, we will find that there are only two aspects of business: it's domestic business as well as international business, or national business or international business. National business takes place when business activities are carried out, or when activities of business are carried out within the geographic boundary of one particular country. For example, a trader in Gujarat is trading with a trader in Calcutta, or a trader in Mumbai is trading with a trader in Delhi. These are basically national business, and it's basically limited to this part of the country only. And if it's international business, it can be carried out by way of conventions, international conventions. Certain rules and regulations needs to be adhered, which needs to be of international stature. We call it international trade and business. It's international business, to be very precise. There are various institutions that impart education on international business as well. What exactly happens under international business is that the trading activities or the business activities are carried out between one country with another country, and they are basically divided by way of geographical boundary. And as I said, there are certain conventions that needs to be adhered to, certain rules and regulations needs to be set up to make sure that the activities are carried out as per those regulations and those parameters which have been set up for carrying out such business activity. For example, if India is carrying out business with UAE and they want to import and export oil, then both the leaders of both the countries needs to come on a common platform, and when they come on the common platform, they need to talk to each other regarding the prospect of the same, of the business of importing and exporting oil to one another, so that the relationship can be bettered. There can be good rapport between the two, and at the end of the day, it's going to make sure that a platform is created wherein they can trade with each other, wherein they can make business with each other, and this in turn is going to help in boosting the relationship, as well as it's going to boost the national income of the country. one country is going to get oil and another country is going to get a foreign exchange of foreign reserves, and this in fact is going to boost the foreign reserves, which would go and multiply in the national income of that country, and the stature of that country by way of international recognition would go on to increase, because when a national or rather foreign reserves gets into one country, and when that currency has a high rate or a high recognition in the international market, then it goes on to increase the stature of that country by way of foreign reserves. And foreign reserves are basically one of the most important parameters wherein the development and the economy of as well as the growth of a country is measured. So all in all, international trade is one of the most vital part wherein the economy can be boosted.